Yo, what's up? How old are you?
36.
Do you support Donald Trump?
I sure do.
If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
I would still vote for Trump.
Okay. Why so?
Well, I wanted to get back to the immigration thing. So you did say that they don't get federal monies, but the state and the federal governments operate separately. So we have states that are still creating systems that are harboring our issues. So what I'm getting at is, so if I'm an illegal or sorry undocumented person who comes to the country and is not accounted for, I can go to certain states, certain sanctuary cities, and still get benefits that take away from the state's funding that goes to our local citizens. They also, in some cases, can get licensed and other benefits that sometimes our poorest people, homeless or not, struggle to get. They can get special numbers that will allow them to get mortgages. I'm a mortgage loan officer, and there are programs where, without any kind of documentation, I could get people housing. So I don't believe that we should completely keep anybody out. America was built on immigration, but I do believe that in order to get our things figured out, we have to close our gates for a little bit so that way we can come up with something more. It's going to be a long process, and I believe that with Trump in place, you have the right figure to kind of be the bad guy in the short term till we come up with a better solution. Because I do believe the American people are smart enough to realize eventually that we can figure out a better solution and we can impose our will upon our legislation to do so. But we have to kind of go through the rough stuff first. So I support Trump because I've watched several presidents go by and they all do slick stuff. And I'm ready for the people to realize the power that they have. And maybe it takes some of this agony for that to happen.
Okay, so are you ideologically left?
I am not.
Okay. I was just trying to see, just to see at some point. So undocumented immigrants over, you said states specifically. So, do you believe in states' rights?
Considering I'm a Black American, yeah, I do. I believe that to some degree, states should be able to have some dictation that's different than outside of what the federal is able to impose. But I do believe the federal is there to kind of be like the big kid in the room in the event that the state gets out of control. It's like a checks and balances system is what I believe that they set up to happen.
So okay, so then you would agree with this. Okay, there's a lot of background noise. Is there a way you could
I'm sorry.
a
I'm
little bit
sorry.
less
I'm sorry
background
about that.
noise?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so specifically, you said you do believe in states' rights. You think that so then the state should have the right to be able to do this for undocumented immigrants. And I don't think that states are giving like these particular aspects to undocumented immigrants. I think that they're giving them to legal asylum seekers. Oh, you have an echo. You gotta fix your echo real quick. I just muted you and so that you could fix your echo real quick. In the meantime, I'll thank some people. There's a few people I could thank real quick. Iris, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Moose with the $50. Can we get some W's from Moose in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Moose. I really appreciate it. Thank you. W's from Moose in the comment section for the $50 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. Ryan with the $2 as well. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I think I'm caught up on YouTube there. I think I'm fully caught up. Send them an invite back in case.
Hey, yeah, I'm good.
I
Sorry
think you
about
still
that.
do have an echo. Wait, it did
There's
go
a,
away. It sounds good now.
yeah, it's all right. Sorry about that.
So yeah, there's a few things. It sounds like you were saying that the states should have the right to do it. I don't think states were doing it. I think it was for illegal asylum seekers. And then I don't think that we need to close gates at all in order to address our immigration process. I think that actually typically, I don't think this is maybe your intention or anything, but typically, like, especially politicians will utilize the idea of closing down the gates, right, for other sort of means, more authoritarian-esque policies, rather than specifically just, like, actually trying to address the conditions at the border, right? There really isn't prompted conditions at the border for us to actually have to shut down all immigration.
Well, I guess the thing I'm getting at is we're so far back in trying to kind of get things caught up as far as like accounting for things where when it comes to census. Like for instance, I keep seeing census that say like for 2020 we had roughly 328 million Americans, but I'm like, if you told me that there was a 528 million people in America, I would solely accounts for the undocumented peoples, because on top of people who are undocumented that come in illegally, we also have our government who will do things like, I'm going to take 50,000 Somalians and implant them in this particular part of the country, and then maybe we get some other people from another place that call them asylum seekers, call them whatever, but amongst them, sometimes other people who slip through the cracks that shouldn't be in that group come in, and they gain rights to these things that allow them to go back to bring other people in, and it becomes this kind of loop, this negative.
So by the way, legal immigration and asylum from certain countries is totally fine. This is all legal and documented. Now, if you want to talk about undocumented immigrants, how many undocumented immigrants do you think are in the country?
More than if you told me that there were 100 million undocumented people, I would totally believe that easily. Yeah, I know you wouldn't understand that, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm like, there's no evidence for that. Like, why would you believe that?
Why would I believe that? Because one of the areas that I've lived in, I've seen where there are whole communities of people who are undocumented, and it's almost it reminds me of back during the Jim Crow times where you had a second class citizenship where you couldn't go to certain places, and it wasn't necessarily because there was no blacks allowed, but it was a social thing. You knew that this was kind of your place, and you went to these places. They move in groups together. They group together to be able to get things that they need for each other. And in the same instance, that's why I believe that if we did continue to have undocumented people, there should realistically be a way for them to create their own healthcare systems and their own banks and things that wouldn't take away from American societies.
There should be a way for them to get a pathway to citizenship, and there's not 100 million people. Like for visualization,
okay, and like
visualization purposes.
And like I was saying, if we close the gate and when we reopen them, have a realistic way for us to quickly expedite people coming into the country in a way that they can be accounted for and in a good way, I think that's a better thing than just allowing them to continue to come in willy-nilly. And I'm not saying anybody's causing any chaos, but on top of the chaos we already have within our country, I think of it like your backyard. If you have nutria and landscape that they like to live in, if you don't have your fence fixed and they continue to come in, but you're trying to get your gardening together, it's a lot harder to manage that until that fence gets fixed, so that way you can get that area cleaned up. So
yeah, so for visualization, right, our population is 340 to 350 million. If 100 million people in the country were undocumented, that would mean 1/3 to 1/4 of the population are undocumented immigrants. So that would mean every 3 to 4 people that you interact with would be likely an undocumented immigrant. Okay, that's ridiculous. That is obviously absurd. That's obviously not true. There's less than, I'm pretty sure it's 15 million people who are in the country undocumented. I don't think there's good evidence to indicate over that.
Do you count the undocumented immigration that happens within our country?
If someone
like a guy who goes from Ohio and knows that he go to Oregon and get a whole bunch of free stuff, and all he has to do is just be there and like maybe have like somebody's address he writes down, but he doesn't have a license or a pot to piss in, but is still leveraging the welfare state in order to take care of things for himself.
I don't think undocumented immigrants are coming here just to like live off the government. All evidence indicates that undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants in general have a higher labor force participation rate than natural-born U.S. citizens, meaning that they are working into the system more than the typical American.
But they're undocumented, so how do you know? But they're undocumented, so how do you know that? Where do you pull your BS numbers from? Because like they're undocumented, so how would you actually be able to have them if they're not documented? Do you see how oxymoronic that is?
No, it's not, because we have documentation on this. Now, there's a bibliography in my bio.
You have documentation on undocumented people. Finish?
Yes, for people who are prior undocumented, absolutely. We can identify information on that. People who are arrested, we can identify information on that. That's stuff that we can look at, for example. You can look at the specific bibliography in my bio, right? There's a works cited page where I have an entire few pages of immigration sources that go over like the specific rates of crime and show that undocumented immigrants commit multiple times lower rates of violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the United States comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens, for example. You can say that they're BS numbers, but I actually genuinely have sources, and you can like literally click on them through the link tree in my bio.
Okay. All right. Next thing.
And also, wait,
what
you
else
said
you got?
That mine are BS numbers, but you said 100 million.
Yeah.
You said you'd be okay with accepting 100 million.
Absolutely, because like just like you're throwing out bullshit, I'll throw out bullshit. It's all good.
I'm not. I'm using evidence and sources. I'm not just throwing out random numbers.
And if I took long enough, I could probably fabricate something for you too. But let's move on to the next thing.
You think I'm like fabricating things myself?
You don't do this in good faith. You'll mute someone when you don't feel like they're doing their thing. You'll barrage them. Somehow you're able to have your 16 screens you have over there to look up your stuff, and you have the DNC making sure that you're on top of your stuff. But it's all good. I'm not mad at you, bro. I'm not mad at you. I love the Gauss. That's pretty cool.
You
I'm
think
not
the
mad at
DNC? You think the DNC is funding me?
Yeah, somebody back there is rubbing you on your back because you're young, you haven't lived enough life, and you really don't know nothing. I know you got your cute little degree from your little school you went to, but like really, you haven't lived enough life to have these such bold opinions that you seem to have. Like, who put a battery in your back and who put a battery in Dean's back? Because you guys, to me, are a bunch of grifters, to be honest, and I know a lot of people who believe that too.
Okay, so let me give you this from my perspective. I'm a random kid that grew up in Iowa. I got a degree. I literally went to school in economics, right? And I literally started talking about politics and started talking about different things on the internet. And I randomly blew up by doing TikToks every single day. That's it. I'm a random fucking person. I don't have DNC backing or anything. Dean was popularized through specifically engaging with this community, right? Right. He was someone who watched me. He engaged with the community. We became friends. We used to talk all the time, play Fortnite with each other. And then it is the case that literally he went on Jubilee and fucking blew up. And it went crazy. He doesn't have some backing, some DNC basis or anything like that. We're random fucking kids on the internet that randomly blew up, right? You think that we're grifters, right? This is just an assumption because we're a character on a screen for people. I'm not a real human to people. People think that I'm just doing this for money or I'm just doing this without any care in the world because they assume that everyone specifically that is in the social media space has that particular type of assumption or has that particular type of intention behind it.
You're not bought paid for it.
Which I want to say I understand having that because a lot of people who are in spaces such as the ones that I'm in, right, and around the board, I'm just in general on social media looking to be like, famous and whatnot, right? A lot of people do have those intentions. So I understand why people have that perspective, but I also want to say, like, I'm a human being, I'm a person, and I genuinely randomly fell into this. I didn't try to become famous. I didn't try to do anything specific. I literally used to go and talk to people on live in front of 5 people for hours every single day. I did not expect this to blow up. I did not expect this to become something huge, right? I had no clue this was going to happen. I don't have DNC backing. I don't have a management company, right? I don't literally work with sponsorships. The only money I make is Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in my bio, description of my YouTube, which literally points the Linktree in my bio with the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, and then YouTube AdSense and YouTube Super Chat. That's it. I don't make any more money than that.
That's a lot, bro. I got one job. They pay me. You got like 16 different ways you're getting paid. And you definitely made sure you went down the list to describe that. So that tells me everything I need to know. So let's get back on subject.
Wait, I told you every single way I make money, and I told you it has nothing to do with the DNC or grifting or anything like that, and you're still going to believe that regardless.
Because I understand how those people...
To me, that seems dishonest. You tried to say that I was the one that was dishonest, but to me, that seems dishonest.
Okay, but you can have this set up where they'll tell you, hey, Just Parker, stream between this time, and we'll have random Rebecca and random Susie and random this, that, and the other, and we'll make it look how it needs to look, and then we'll give you the money that way. So it doesn't have to be this guy in the background doing it. You could have your bots here right now sitting amongst you saying these things about me. Oh, you're a dumb boy and all this stuff, like, because I'm not like... Nobody knows me here. I don't know you here, but here I am, my character being attacked by you guys.
So you think the DNC is paying me...
I definitely don't think
random. Hold up. So you think the DNC is? Let me go through this conspiracy. You think the DNC is paying me through random bot accounts that they create of different things of different people? Because by the way, on YouTube, you can click on people's accounts. People have accounts on YouTube. You can see their channels. You can see when they were created. Okay. Sure, you can't see the stuff that I'm getting on Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, but I say it out loud, and I mean, you're gonna just assume that it's fake, right? Even though every single time someone sends me money, it's a real person. Like, for example, Brad with the $25 from the DNC. Thank you so much. Moira, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5 from the DNC. Thank you. Matthew with the $20 from the daily tax-free DNC payment. Thank you so much. Can we get some W's for all the gifters in the comment section right now? All of the DNC payments. Thank you. Ellen, think of the $20 for the grift from the DNC. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I remember seeing on Parker with TikTok with little to no viewers. It took him before where he got it, where he is right now. I know this because I watched it. Literally saw me like absolutely blow up. It's actually crazy. Thank you from the DNC. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lovey. Gracie, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you everyone for supporting the grift. Chase, thank you for the $2 from the secret DNC money. Stamp, thank you for the $2. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Laura, thank you for the $25 for the DNC grifting. Thank you. Libby with the $25 for the fake money from a bot. Thank you. Ashley with the $5 for your biggest DNC super fan. Thank you so much. Coral, thank you for the $20 from the DNC to keep up the grift. Thank you so much, Coral.
boy.
I really appreciate it. Jewel with the $2. Thank you so much.
They silly for paying you.
Stamp with the $2. Thank you.
Paying you. That's all I'll say. If they are real, you
Ida,
silly
thank you
for
for the
paying
$50 on PayPal. Ida, thank you so much for the $50. Thank you so much from the DNC. Thank you so much, Ida. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Ida.
I'm not mad.
DD, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, DD. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Millie, thank you for the $10. Nancy with the $100 from the DNC. Thank you so much. Nancy with the $100 from the DNC. Thank you so much, Nancy. Can we get some W's for Nancy in the comment section right now? Yehoshua, thank you for the $1.50 from the DNC. What's up? No, I hear you.
No, I'm giving you W's too, bro. Like
Erica,
I said, I'm
thank you
not
for the $25 for the grifting from the DNC. Thank you. Mary with the $10 for the grifting. Laura with the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Rebecca with the $5 for the random Rebecca the bot.
Hey, make him a millionaire. I'm with it. And hey, go Hawkeyes, right? You're a Hawkeye fan, right?
I grew up in Iowa. Caroline, thank you so much for the $10 from the DNC. Rob, thank you for the $5 from the DNC. Robot Overlords, thank you. Otto, thank you so much for the $10 from the DNC. Loves you as always. Thank you so much, DNC. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone from the DNC, from all the donations. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hey Parker, real quick before you kick me, I have one question for you.
I'm not going to kick you. Ryder, thank you for the $20. Thank you so much, Ryder. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Zoe, thank you for the $14. Thank you so much from the DNC. Thank you. Doomsday, thank you for the $2 for sponsor money coming. Go ahead. No, give me do you actually really believe that every single person that just sent me money was from the DNC?
They're trying to
you
prove
can't
a point.
fathom in a live of 8,000 people that there were people that sent me money.
Hey, if you're a stripper, you just twerked for them and they threw them dollar bills and made it rain. I am not mad at that, bro. Get your money, duffel bag boy.
Josh, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Well, you're clearly jealous. You're clearly jealous.
Me? I'm not mad at all, bro. I make enough money for myself.
Well,
I'm not even
I'm
mad.
sorry. You just tried to degrade me and tried to degrade people who engage in stripping specifically, literally because you were so jealous.
No, hey, bro, I throw tons of dollars at the girls like monthly, so don't even worry about that. They get their fair share.
So wait, I'm sorry. Did you just call yourself ridiculous then? Because didn't you laugh at people sending me money?
No, well, because it was a value. I think you get more value out of a stripper than throwing money at you to hear you talk and maybe debate in bad faith sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, so what's wrong with people sending me money? And also, wait, are you in a relationship? Does your wife know?
That's my niece. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I was just.
Because she's black, huh? You just assume that that's my wife because she's black? No, that's my niece.
No, I made an assumption because it's a profile picture where people put their significant others all the time, and I can't see. I genuinely can't see your profile picture like at all. It's really small on my screen.
So just let it be then. You don't even got to go there. You're trying to do that thing you do where you're trying to, this guy's awful. He's doing these things. Oh my gosh, chill. It's all right.
No, you're assuming everyone sending me money is from the DNC, right? And then you were trying to say that people were wasting their money if it was actually them sending the money.
Trump, I support Trump is because obnoxious guys like you eventually will get flushed out, and along with him and the other not so cool people, we'll be able to get some maybe reasonable people in there. Like for instance, I think that if we were really from a Republican standpoint in good faith trying to put somebody in there that was worth a dang, we had some other candidates that potentially could have got it done for us, but we want to proceed like WWF these days, and if that's the case, then we pick the best character to do the job,
Best
and
character.
if it wasn't,
you think that Trump has a good character?
Well, do you know how WWF works? You have villains like the heels, and you have people who are like the heroes, and sometimes they have the eras where the bad guys are the guys that get most of the stuff. So the political stage to me is it's all for show. It's really all for show.
Then why would you vote for Donald Trump if it's all for show, if it doesn't actually get you anything?
Because regardless if I voted for him, then I understand that they were going to do what they were going to do, if that makes any sense. The Electoral College is going to dictate. They could be faithless electors and go the way they want to go anyway. So there's not a whole lot we could do once we get outside of the voting that we do for our
candidates. I have a question. Just say there's the same outcomes with both administrations. Then why would you vote for the guy held civilly liable of sexual abuse who said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years?
Because he's not the first, and nor will he be the last political person who has all kinds of BS that's going on.
Has Kamala Harris done that?
I'm sure she has a
Nope.
couple people that she's gotten between their knees for to help her political
Oh,
thing. Just like
you're just so because she's a
here
woman,
we
you're just
go.
gonna
Yep. Go ahead and blame me on some
yeah,
other
no,
stuff.
that's
Go ahead and blame
exactly
me
what
on
you're
some.
doing. That's exactly what you're doing. You're
Well,
saying because she's a woman, you're gonna assume that she slept her way to the top, or that she slept with people in order to get to the position that she was in specifically. That is absolutely misogynistic as fuck, right? That was totally you doing that because she's a woman. Don't act like that wasn't.
and you're a man hater for going there and putting man's business out there like that.
They wouldn't hurt as president just because.
I'm a man
Yeah,
hater.
they wanted,
Yep, certified man hater. You know me, I'm
she's a
Parker.
black
I'm
woman,
known
they
as
want
the
to put-
certified man hater. Parker, get a job known as the certified man hater. Look at that guy.
You know
Absolutely.
weren't you
What
the
a
guy-
man
weren't
hater.
you-
He hates himself. You know what? You're right. Damn right about that one.
Hey, I have a quick question. I'm his brother. I don't know. You just why? So you like Kamala?
Kamala,
What do you
yeah.
say her name? Kamala. Why do you like her?
Well, I think she's a better candidate because I think her policies are targeted towards benefiting working class Americans. For example, the increase of the child tax credit to $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, and $3,000 through them being 18 would actually help families, right, be able to take care of their children to a greater extent, and it would reduce childhood poverty. When this was implemented in 2021 through the American Rescue Plan, which was COVID emergency policy, which only lasted for around 1 year, it reduced childhood poverty by 45%. And I think implementing that policy on a longer scale would be very, very beneficial, right, for families in this country, and would create better conditions where people are able to take care of their children, would lead to more children having food on their table. We can also point to the $25,000 tax credit that she was advocating for first-time home buyers for new homes, which would help stimulate the building of houses in places where people want to live, and also reduce the prices specifically for houses that are already built because it increases the supply of homes that have already been built.
Okay, so if she has such good policies, why did no one vote for her?
Because people wrongly attributed inflation to the incumbent president because inflation happened under the Biden-Harris administration, but it wasn't caused by the Biden-Harris administration. That inflation happened all around the world, right, everywhere. So it was not specifically due to the Biden administration's policies. It was COVID, due to COVID because it affected the supply chains.
So when she got thrown on the ticket because of Joe Biden's health, no one voted for her to be in that spot.
Oh, we actually did because we voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, and if the president steps down, that means the vice president would step up. Also, 80% of the Democratic Party was satisfied with her being the nominee, along with the fact that no one else decided to run against her.
Okay.
because they were told not to. That's how they work. Remember when Bernie was in 20 almost to 2020, Bernie was leading at the Iowa caucus, and they pretty much, I don't know what they did to him, but I remember when they made him step back so other people could step up. Bernie should have been the guy in there for you guys, and you guys continue to treat him like crap. And that's kind of what happened here, where, well, for this reason, that reason, the other reason, we'll elevate her, and there wasn't a fair situation where they allowed other people in good faith to try to compete with her to get in that position. And if they were using the correct way of doing things, they would have allowed that, and they didn't. And I know people can go ahead and be like, I'm going to step aside and let this happen. I'm going to step aside and let that happen. But like, why do we do that? That's the kind of stuff that goes on that helped me step away from the Democratic Party, because there's too much of that lockstep. We're going to scratch your back, I'll scratch your back stuff going on. And I know it goes on both sides of the political thing, but I'm sick of it serving. I'm just sick of it serving the wrong things. And like I said, my whole thing for Trump is like, I see him as a means to an end. It's not about this guy has a felony, this guy has this or other, because like all these guys have whatever going on. Like in my head, Obama's the biggest traitor to our country based on the fact that he was going over there doing a lot of covert things that made our military feel really dishonored. But he's a commander.
Can I address this real quick? So like, I like Bernie. I'm a fan of Bernie, but like, I don't think that, I don't really think these arguments are very strong, because why didn't Bernie win in 2020 then?
Because he stepped down, which allowed the person that was running against him to be elevated.
He lost to Biden because the entirety of the moderate side of the party coalesced against him, which led to him not getting enough of the votes. That's the reality. Like, Bernie didn't get enough votes. Sure, you could say that there are certain things that, that they did on the back end where the moderates wanted to coalesce against them, but that's how coalitions work within the primary process. Okay? So the inevitable reality you have to acknowledge is that Bernie didn't win the vote. right? I would have loved for him to. I would have loved for him to like address, right, or be able to get those policies passed. You know, I like universal healthcare, I like Medicare for all, I like universal childcare. Those are amazing policies. But the reality is that he didn't win. And even if we say that in 2016 there was some rigged process with Hillary Clinton, that doesn't mean in 2020 that same process was there. So it doesn't explain that in 2020 that there was a loss of the primary.
Well.
Also,
I felt strongly for Tulsi Gabbard being, because I mean, I thought in the debate she did a really good job pointing out some of the reasons why Kamala should not be trying to, you know, throw her hat in the arena, so to speak.
Oh, I don't think the things that were brought up about
her record as a district attorney, her record as a district attorney is as a black man in America is saddening to me.
Well, Tulsi specifically is advocating right now for an administration that currently is racially profiling people. So, I mean, do you currently support that? Do you think Tulsi is the one determining that? Do you think that the Trump administration is going to be better for that?
Where are you getting your information?
The Trump administration themselves. They admitted that they're racially...
They said verbatim, we're bringing racial profiling.
They authorized racial profiling, yes.
So what's new? We've been doing that. I was born in '89. That's old hat. That's what's been going on.
This is from a federal standpoint through the context of the usage of ICE, right? So this is from a federal standpoint.
So I'm asking you, what has changed?
From the federal standpoint, they're allowing for racial profiling.
Cops have been doing this in places like LA and Chicago.
Cops are different from the federal
on the federal level, on the state level, on the local, all the different levels. The cops have been doing these things.
Yeah, and you understand that like we should be against that, and that's not legal for them to do, right? There are laws specifically to limit them from doing this in particular areas, and it is the case that Trump is actually invoking this to happen at a greater extent.
So here's where
from the context of ICE. Now ICE can do it too.
You can say these things, but we have what is called the Congress and the Senate in place, and he can have these wild ideas that he throws out there, and yeah, they might even slip through a little bit, but we also have a checks and balances system, which maybe they don't catch it right away, but they'll get it on back right where it needs to be. It's just how it kind of goes. We're in a big transitional turn right now where there's a lot of things to kind of get reformed and retwisted around, and it's going to look sideways for a minute while we work on figuring out as a complete society which way we want to go. That's why there seems like there's so much division, more division than there has been in my whole entire living so far. But I think we're going to get there. We're going to get it figured out. And I'm not saying that Trump is a means to an end, but if it's the beginning of us awakening and understanding the next thing to go through, as far as like maybe a two-party system isn't the way and this, that, and the other, like he's going to give you that example when it's all said and done. So
I don't think that we're going to get to a more democratic system by supporting a guy that is undermining.
I want to represent.
Can I please finish? I don't think that we're going to get to a more democratic system by advocating for a candidate that literally incited a violent insurrection to the Capitol, pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers, called them patriots, right? And then literally sent false slates of electors to Electoral College to cast Trump votes to try to steal the election in 2020, and still to this day claims the 2020 election was rigged with no evidence. That's definitely not going to lead to more democratic processes being instituted.
If you're counting votes, should the votes ever go down?
If we're counting votes, what do you mean? Should the votes ever? What do you mean? Like,
if I'm watching the TV and I see votes go down, like make that make sense. When I'm watching, you know what I mean?
Oh, they must have accidentally done that. They accidentally put it up when
that was another thing at first for me.
Okay, but what if one's going down and then the others goes up exactly the same amount? Was that so they just confuse just enough?
That would be the media company's fault, not the necessarily numbers. And also us having a better estimate on the numbers can also change depending on like the time of the night. So
the thing that I get more caught up on is, and maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't believe that Biden was more popular than Obama. But he had record amount of votes for the popular vote than Obama, like that's where I'm like GTFO as far as that guy goes. That's why I know there's some weird stuff going on, because all of a sudden, like, and that's not to say that Trump should have more votes either way. I'm just saying, like, both those dudes ain't that popular as far as I'm concerned. They shouldn't have been breaking records. If Obama's this golden child, whatever, there's no way he should have had more votes. And I know, like, the next wave of 18-year-olds coming in adds to that, like, ability for that number to go up or whatever, but like, come on. If they're saying young white males are more realistically voting like Republican towards Trump, et cetera, or whatever, like it would be easy to say if that 18 to whatever population that is coming in as a new influx of voters are voting that red way, that we would have seen it way more massively going up in the Trump side, but we didn't see that. We saw, like I said, record-breaking numbers for this guy who was Obama's VP, but like he was definitely not liked like Obama was. Obama was very popular and had the highest popular vote. So like, how do you reconcile that?
So then you would have to argue that Trump's votes were fake too, because Trump got more votes than Obama.
Okay, yeah, but I said that before. It's like, well, but like, so that's your reconciliation.
So then you're saying both sides' votes were fake.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, how do you reconcile such a ballooning of the numbers is what I'm saying. Like, fake or not,
COVID, and that more people were at home, more people were on their phones and engaging with the media. And it is the case that people used
no way it was any of those undocumented. No way it was any of those undocumented people who have been within our system,
who literally can't vote.
Who can't vote. No way it was them at all. No absolute way.
Literally, they can't vote.
Sure,
they literally cannot vote.
Because I live in communities where I see these undocumented people voting. It may not be for the federal election.
So you see people committing fraud, and you don't. So wait, so you saw people committing fraud, and then you literally didn't. No, I'm not saying you're a bad guy. I'm just saying you saw people committing fraud, and you didn't say anything about it until now.
Yes, because I am just one guy. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a reality check on things that happen and pockets all around the country.
But like, you didn't tell the police that you saw people like committing fraud.
Okay, and then what am I? If I don't believe in if we go back to the whole police thing, if they're not going to work in good faith, what am I going to bother them about for something they're
Well, you're just assuming that there would be nothing addressed, particularly in terms of election fraud. There were a bunch of different cases on this. We were talking about the election and going through the election fraud cases for like a while. Like, you definitely had the ability to go and have that addressed if it was specifically true. I mean, you definitely would have gotten a lot of people on the right wanting to hear that. They would have totally ran with that story, right? I would have been hearing that we would have heard that on the national level as an argument. They had undocumented immigrants voting. Here were the particular undocumented immigrants that were voting. We have someone specifically that as a first person account that witnessed this occurring.
But hey, we talked about those people that we allow in that are legal immigrations that do get these rights, that they can do those things. So what, like we're throwing these little words around, but they're one and the same as far as I'm concerned. People from outside of our country who have not been here long enough to be a part of the process very quickly are being able to be in the process, not necessarily all taking our resources as far as like food stamps, et cetera, but are able to be engaging in the political process to some degree. And it's to a degree enough that it's influencing politics to be away from what would be American fundamentals.
So how so?
How so? So, for instance, education. I absolutely believe that we need reform in education, because currently it's gone so wayward. We have it become nationalized, and it's actually taken us a step back. I remember when we had what was called Iowa testing when I was young and in elementary school, and each state was in charge of kind of holding a different standard for what they would allow as far as their curriculums and things. So when that got nationalized and the No Child Left Behind thing happened, it kind of really watered down.
How are undocumented immigrants voting?
Well, they're voting Democratic, so it's not a matter of what they're voting. It's, hey, if you come to there are systems in place that allow them, like there's a system called CASA here where I live locally, that if you're an undocumented person, will work with you to help develop plans to get you housing and resources to you.
That's not
whether it's a license or jobs. Okay, but these same people are voting because that's the carrot there is, hey, here's your ability to vote. We have this ITN number for you. We have these things in place. This is how you'll be represented. We need you to vote like this, and as long as you're doing that, you'll get this.
Wait, is CASA for children?
Well, that's the whole that's the crux right there. You have a child, and that allows you the benefits.
So like, yeah. So it's a charity giving benefits to children. I'm confused how this is helping people vote.
If you know you're going to get free stuff and all you have to do is check a box, you're going to check the box so you get the free stuff.
It's a charity,
it's really that
dude.
simple.
This is a charity.
It's a charity. Okay. It's a charity.
Yeah, private charities can do what they want, right?
So can NGOs that fund guys like you and Dean?
So you think that we're funded? You think that we're funded? You have no evidence.
I'm just trolling, bro. I'm just messing with you. We're already past that bridge. I was just poking fun.
Wait, but do you actually think that though?
To get lit. Huh?
Do you actually?
Do I actually what? Think what?
Do you actually think that like I'm paid by like an NGO or like the DNC?
I think that you are in bad faith in that you definitely have some kind of something backing you. I don't necessarily think it necessarily has to be a monetary thing, but there's some access that you have that. And I'm not gonna denote that you are.
Wait, actually, literally, tell me who's backing me. Wait, genuinely, who's backing me?
That's the thing. I couldn't tell you, but like on top of you being brilliant and resourceful and this that, and the other, somebody else has some going on for you.
I have rent to pay. Could you have the DNC send me some?
Yeah, let me get
some good.
Yeah, bro.
If I was getting paid by the DNC, I would hit them up. I'm telling you. But like, I don't get paid by the DNC. So like, seriously, Jenny, I just want to be real with you. I am not backed by anyone. Literally, it's just me. I don't have a management company. I don't work with anyone in that.
Parker, let me say this though. If it comes out,
I hire an editor. That's it.
Okay, in 8 months, if a YouTube video comes out talking about how you're such a grifter, this, that, and the other, bro, I'm gonna be so sad. I'll be so sad because I'd be happy. I'll be like, I'm the real deal. And then 8 months later, you get exposed by like Penguin Z or something.
That's fine. That's fine. So the reality of the matter is that I'm not actually taking anything. So that's never going to come out. People will claim this, such as the way that you're claiming it right now. But there's no evidence. Seriously, like it's a joke. It's actually it's laughable because I can't even fathom that people think this. And I've known people who are very conspiracy oriented in my life. And even they think this is crazy. Even the most conspiracy theorist people that I have met on a personal basis think that this is insane, because it is the case that people actually believe this. And I understand why people believe this because of how our society functions and because of like, how many people out there like that are, genuinely do that, right? And grift. So I understand why people think that. But I don't think it's warranted, of course, because I'm like myself, and I know for 100% certainty that I literally don't take anything and that I don't work with anyone else, and I'm literally by myself.
All right, so there's only really one more question I have before I let you go, because I actually have some couple things I can take care of. I do appreciate you taking time to listen and stuff, and I know like whatever, I'm ignoring like your people in the comments. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. And I appreciate you letting that come to fruition, good, bad, or indifferent. But like, really, what the people really want to know is like, when you play Super Smash Brothers Melee specifically, what's your character?
Ooh, that's a good question.
No, I gotta know, because you look like a guy who would use Kirby, but like, if you told me you use Fox, I would believe that too. But either way, I think I would like smash your ass in that game, bro. We should set up a tournament.
I don't know. I know you guessed. I do not know how you guessed Kirby. That's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you Kirby? Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of crazy.
I bet you're pretty good with Kirby too, huh? Kirby's slick. You seem like a Kirby type. I thought so. But hey, you have a good day, man.
I appreciate you coming up. That's actually really funny. I actually would use Kirby all the time. I'm not gonna lie. Like Kirby was my main.